So welcome everyone and welcome YouTube friends. So what are we gonna do? Let's ask a few questions. Those of you who were here last Thursday, we did something like this, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to ask a few questions. None of them are trick questions. None of them are complicated. They're all as simple as they sound. Do you hear any birds outside your house at this moment? Okay. Now notice what happens when I ask that question. It's not something you have to think about. It's not something you figure out. You're not consulting anything in the past or any expectation about the future. You're looking at your actual experience in this moment. Which, by the way, you may have noticed all actual experience is always in the moment, is always now. So that's the way all these questions work. Can you feel the contact between the bottom of your right foot and whatever's the next thing it's touching, whether it's the floor or the inside of your shoe or whatever? Can you feel some contact between the sole of your right foot and something? If yes, fine. If no, fine. So it doesn't matter what the answer to the question is. It's just that you're paying attention to simple, direct, actual present experience. Are thoughts present? Do you experience thoughts? Okay. Either you do or you don't. Either way, fine. You're just noticing your experience. What does it feel like around your abdomen right now? It's within your tummy. Do you feel fullness or growling hunger or butterflies from excitement or nothing in particular? Whatever it is, just noticing. Okay. Are you aware? Are you aware? Okay. This one, please give me a, let me see your heads nod or yes or shake no. And if you're not sure, give me a good shrug so I can address it. Are you aware? Okay, Cheryl, you're not sure? Let's talk about it. Or are you just being a wise ass? Yeah, okay, I've unmuted
No,
you. Go ahead.
I'm not being a wise ass.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was a trick question or not.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's not a trick question. None of these are trick questions. None of these are trick questions. They're as simple and direct as they sound. So if we can write it up on that basis, are you aware?
Well, I felt like I was aware when you asked about our right foot.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Are you aware now? Because whatever we're talking about right foot, that's something in the past. So me allegedly asking that question, that's just a memory, that's a thought that we can have now, this memory. But
I still feel
are you aware? I'm sorry? I'm sorry?
I'm aware of my right foot again, and
right.
So I think I'm getting more aware.
Okay, so let me clarify the question. I'm not asking you, are you aware of X, or Y or Z. I'm asking you if you're aware.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you see the simplicity of that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said something interesting, which was talking about being more aware or less aware. You're raising this notion of degrees of awareness. And you hear this thing a lot from people. I'm expanding my awareness. I'm becoming more aware. If I say to you, "Oh, I'm not very aware. I'm very sleepy right now. I'm drunk right now." Okay. Can you see that I'm describing an experience of sleepiness or an experience of drunkenness? I'm aware of certain feelings, sensations that tell me I'm sleepy or tell me I'm drunk. Okay. So we could say just as the sensations in your right foot are something you're aware of, they're not the awareness. They're something you're aware of. In the same way, the sensations of sleepiness or drunkenness or anything else are also something we're aware of. Are you hearing that? Is that resonating for you, Cheryl? Everyone else? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
So here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be aware that your awareness is not really is limited? That your awareness, your appreciation that you normally have when you're not drunk is is by, you're interpreting your awareness or your experience
Mm-hmm.
as being one of not being as aware as when you're not drunk.
Well, see, now we seem to have two models here, two ways of talking about this.
Right.
Okay. And in the one model that you're kind of proposing, by the way, for anyone to whom this sounds like, oh man, we're spinning philosophy now and so forth, just stay relaxed about it. Okay. Don't feel that you've got to process all this stuff. Be very easy about, we're playing here, we're exploring, we're just prodding. And what we're going to is supremely simple. Okay. We're simple at the beginning, simple at the end. It may seem complicated a little bit in the middle, but it's actually really simple all the way through. But so just relax about what apparent complications. They're all going to go away. I promise. You know what? Let's for now stay with some yes or no questions, and we'll come back, Bob, to your point a little bit later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to work better for us. What we need right now is, are you aware? Okay. Is there anyone who has any doubt that they're aware in this moment? Okay. And degrees of awareness or quality of awareness, that's not the question on the table right now. Okay. We okay with that? Okay. So we're all experiencing, well, last time I asked it, as if memory serves, I asked that question and people said yes. If memory serves, which increasingly it does not. yeah, people said yes, but now it's now. Is everyone aware now? How about now? Okay. So so awareness, we could say awareness is present. Awareness is present. Okay. Another way to say that. This awareness then that's present, is it triangular in nature? Is it cubic or cylindrical? No. Does it have any shape? No. Is everyone clear that the awareness does not have a shape? We can be aware of shapes. And this actually, Bob, is going to your point. We can be aware of shapes, different shapes. And in fact, interestingly enough, we can be aware of something with a rectangular shape and aware of something with a cylindrical shape at the same time, just in case we needed to be really clear about the fact that awareness itself does not have a shape. Awareness, in order to be capable of experiencing different shapes simultaneously, and I think we're probably pretty clear that any shape we hold up, our awareness can be aware of it, even shapes that haven't been invented yet. So awareness seems to be something, it must be shapeless itself to be capable of experiencing, of being aware of all these shapes. It's like a shapeless, infinite capacity to be aware of different shapes. Does this awareness have a sound? Is it a B flat? Is it trumpet-like? Is it snare drum-like? Okay. Clearly no, right? Clearly this awareness is silent. But it's a silent capacity to be aware of all sounds. Okay? Does it have a color? Okay? We're getting a sense of how this is going, right? Spoiler alert, it's not going to have any of the other qualities that we propose, right? Doesn't have a texture, doesn't have a gender, doesn't have a nationality or a race, doesn't have a species. Can you see that any quality, any characteristic that we propose for awareness, it's going to be perfectly devoid of that quality or characteristic? And yet it's quite clear that this is present. And in fact, it's just about the only thing that we can be this clear about moment after moment. It turns out that awareness, we could say, is our best and ultimately our only friend, in a sense. It's one thing that every time we look, there it is, the one thing that never abandons us. The one thing that's not a thing, because all things change, all things pass away. You have a best friend, your best friend could have, God forbid, have a stroke tomorrow, and all their attitudes change, and everything you felt so dependent and so, I know I can rely on that person. Maybe you can't. But here's awareness, moment after moment. Does this awareness have a beginning point? Can you find a beginning point? Can you find an end point? Look for it. Don't fall back into thinking now that we say, oh, I'm getting the idea. I can think. Keep going to direct experience. We have to be conscientious scientists here. Okay. Can you find a beginning point or an end point? Can you find an inside or an outside to awareness? No, me neither. How far away from you is this awareness? Don't think, look. Notice. Can you find any distance between you and it? Anyone have questions? Don't. I want to make sure no one feels railroaded here. Like, okay, I got to give the right answer. This is not catechism, okay, or Hebrew school. This is. So anyone who's unclear about this stuff, raise your hand. Let's clear it up. Okay, so it's clear. We can't find any distance. So we're talking in terms of, is there a distance between I and this awareness? I have been looking at whether it's yellow. I've been looking at whether it's triangular. So who or what is this I that has been looking at the experience of awareness? Let's state it more simply. Who or what right now is aware of this awareness? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Who or what is aware of this awareness? Are there two different things? Is there some I that is aware of this awareness? And this awareness, which is devoid of characteristics, which this I is aware of? Or is the awareness aware of itself, for lack of better words? You see, this is where we start reaching the limits of our language, because our language is designed very beautifully to talk about dualistic experience, where it's very clear that there's subjects and objects, experiences and things that are experienced and the ones that experience them. Our language is not very well designed to talk about what happens when those dualistic relationships start to break down. Okay. So even when we say, oh, it's just awareness aware of itself, if that's the case, that sounds like two or three things going on, because the structure of sentences in the English language, subject, verb, direct, object. I used to teach this stuff for a living. Okay. Sounds like three things. Oh, awareness, aware of awareness, subject, verb, object. All right. But in fact, what we're trying to describe is more like did I use the example of a flashlight last week? Those of you who were here? No. Okay. It must have been in the Tuesday meeting. So hold on. I got to plug in my computer. So we've drawn the distinction between being aware of various objects, aware of various characteristics, whether it's a gross outer object like a cup, or a subtle inner object like a sensation. For just a moment, we're taking, let's venture into metaphor, and then we want to get back as soon as possible to most straightforward descriptions of our actual experience. We could think, if this just helps us to be clear about what we're experiencing, we could think of of awareness as being like a flashlight. That usually the reason we're using a flashlight is to see objects. So we flash the light on the picture, we flash the light on this object here, we flash the light on the books over there. And we're not looking at the flashlight, right? The flashlight, we're using the flashlight to look at these outer objects. So you can see that this is analogous to our usual relationship with awareness. We're using awareness to be aware of object X, Y, and Z, and not being aware of awareness itself. So we can't flash the light on the flashlight. The flashlight can, ironically, the flashlight can shine on any object in the whole world except itself. Right? So if we try to do that, then we're getting up against the limits of duality here. But what if the flashlight just rests within its own glow? Just rests within its own glow. Can you hear that? Get a sense of that? Can you get a sense that if, as we're seeing, it seems like there's no distance between awareness and the I that's aware of it, that I seem to be this awareness. I mean, who or what is aware of all this stuff? Me. It's simple. No freaking metaphysics here. It's simple. There's nothing special. There's no meditation here. There's no enlightenment required. It's the simplest thing in the world. Who's aware of the cup? I. Who's aware of the phone? I. Right? That's what I've been doing in every moment of my life. I being aware of stuff. Right? I'm aware of the cup. I'm aware of the phone. I'm aware of the arm. I'm aware of the wristwatch. I'm aware of the thoughts. I'm aware of the very faulty version of personal history that I call the history of Dean. Okay. This awareness has been there as a witness to every moment of my life. All the things I'm aware of keep changing. The body keeps changing. The thoughts keep changing. The attitudes keep changing. But this simple I that is aware of all these objects of awareness is like the one thread that goes through it all. It's the light that shines on all those gross and subtle objects. And because they're moving, because they have characteristics, because they keep changing, they're the shiny objects because we keep shining our awareness on them. And so the one thing that we miss is the awareness itself. Our one constant friend has been neglected, we could say. Okay. Isn't it interesting to start to realize, our usual sense of, because we started to see, well, wait a minute, there doesn't seem to be any possibility of a separation between awareness and I, but we described awareness as being without shape, without size, without color, without all these characteristics. Does that mean that's what I am like? I thought I had pink skin or whatever this color is. I thought I had a gray beard, right? Oh, wait, that's stuff I'm aware of. I thought I was a Democrat. Oh, those are attitudes, which are crystallized thoughts. Thoughts are something I'm aware of. That's not what I am. Someday I might be a Republican. Don't hold your breath, but it's structurally possible, right? It could happen. It's existentially possible. Right? If we were to be so unkind as to, I don't know, take a chainsaw and lop off a few limbs or something, it'd still be I. What if you, yeah, Avi, please unmute yourself. Oh, you know what? I've got to do it. Sorry. Okay, don't do it. Don't touch anything, Avi. I got it. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Um, can awareness have characteristics such as, can awareness be biased or truthful?
Can awareness be biased or truthful? Is that
Yeah.
your question?
Yeah. What's the nature of the awareness? Is it, if it's so natural,
Mm-hmm.
can my awareness deceive me, or can my awareness be completely wrong? Or disillusion or illusion, you know?
Can you give me an example?
Like my awareness in a certain situation tells me I am in danger or I'm suspecting of someone.
Yeah,
But
no, your awareness doesn't tell you that. Your thoughts tell you that.
okay.
Okay, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. People have to go over and over and over this to get clear on the difference between awareness and thoughts. You're aware, and this is crucial. I really, really, really want you to remember this, and really make sure you're clear on this. Are you aware of your thoughts? Right now, don't think hypothetically. Right now, take a look. Are you
Yeah.
aware of some thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so thoughts are objects of awareness. They're not the awareness. The thoughts are not aware of you. The thoughts are they're just blips. They're just like data or something, functions. But you're aware of them.
Right.
You're aware of them. Okay. And then thoughts that you think over and over, you think them over and over enough, they become like attitudes. We work them into systems. They become our doctrines, our religions, and our politics and so forth. If we keep revisiting them enough, it feels like they have a structure that's not made out of thoughts, but they don't. That's an illusion. That's an illusion. And, I might have my whole attitude, my whole world picture, which shows me why any sensible person is going to be a Democrat. And you may have a whole other picture structure showing why any sensible person will be a Republican. And the structures will be completely different, but they're both structured out of the same kind of Legos. And those Legos are thoughts. Those Legos are thoughts. They're identical Legos, just assembled into different shapes. Is that making sense to people? Okay. Okay. Let me get to you in a second, Shizuka. I want to say one more thing about this, which is, what's your religion when you're asleep, in the state of dreamless sleep? Are you Jewish then, or Buddhist, or Catholic, or atheist then? No, not even atheist.
Yeah,
When
I
you're
think I'm just alive when I'm sleeping, right?
Say it again.
I'm just alive. I'm not dead. I'm just alive. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah. You're in any case, you don't have a religion. You are incapable of having a religion. Because you're at that time, you're incapable of thinking thoughts. And the thoughts which we think exist without us. We think every time I come back to them, there they are. It's not the case. We come back, we have to reproject them every time. Something, especially as we get older, you may have noticed, we have this idea that our memories are like a videotape library. And every time we go back, we pull this one out of the, people who remember videotape, we pull this one that, you go to Blockbuster, right? We pull this one out of the library. Every time we look at it, it's the same. And it's not. We're actually assembling it every time. And it's very interesting when we find out, like, for example, little something I put just for fun into the newsletter this week. The thing about the radio spots that I and a friend did in 1965. Did any of you listen to that? I know, Lynn, you did. Yeah, that's totally fun. Yeah. So we did the series of radio spots for the cinematic masterpiece, Pinocchio in Outer Space. My friend Chris Bush and I were Bill Lunar and Tom Mariner, the first two teenagers shot into outer space. Look, Tom, it's a space-flying whale. And someone, I've been looking for that for decades, and someone just posted it on YouTube last year. So it's very fun. But what's interesting is I've been telling people that story. It's like one of the wonderful, wacky stories of my life. I've been telling it for decades. And the way I've been telling it, the names of our characters were Tom Astro and Dick Cosmo. I had the names totally wrong. So I was shocked to find out I had that totally wrong. Now, what else are we sure of that's totally wrong? We don't know because we're sure of it. One of the exciting things about being married is there's always someone around to point out to you what you're wrong about. And if you're smart, which I'm not always, but if you're smart, you know enough to go, wow, thanks. You just knock some more bullshit out of me. Right? You just, the place where I had this crystallized, certainty, you just gave me some open space. Thank you very much. Okay. So what's your politics when you're asleep? What's your religion when you're asleep? What's your history, your personal history? Nothing. What are your plans? Nothing. Okay. Now, what are your politics when you're parallel parking in a tight space? Same thing. You don't have the bandwidth available to think about politics when you're, especially those of us with older cars without the little fun TV screen. Every time I rent a car, I go, hey, anything good on? No, that same boring show. You don't have the bandwidth available. It's only there when you're thinking your thoughts. Now, this is extremely good news because once again, it means there's a bunch of open space that we've not been recognizing. It's because where's your sad story when you're parallel parking or when you're asleep? Where's your this, whatever is the burden that you feel, oh my God, I've been carrying this thing there's no let up. This thing is always here. It's not always there. It's only there when you think about it. Where is it when you're going down the first hill on the roller coaster? It's gone. It's gone. But every time we pick it up, and here is the trick, watch this one carefully. Every time we pick it up again, the whole thought system about the thing and the sad story and all that, built into it, one of the thoughts built into the system is the thought, this is here all the time. Can you see that? You see that? When we start to look clearly at this stuff, it starts to fall apart. Can you feel that? We start to look clearly at how we construct this story of, oh, this stuff's going, it's all has this independent reality. When we look closely at how we've been assembling the Legos in every moment, not every moment, in every moment when we think about it, then we start to see the insubstantial nature of it. So we think, oh, if only I could get relief from this, whatever it is. You do 1,000 times a day. You drop that bag 1,000 times a day. If any of you are familiar with, have ever read Waiting for Godot? Diane, sometime I want to talk with you about reading that in French. Okay, there's a line, and there's this pathetic character, this slave character named Lucky. And he's the unluckiest person in the world. It's us. He's a slave. He's pulled by like a noose around his neck. And he's holding his master's bags as they journey down the road. And they come to a place where they stop and converse with these other two characters. And he's still holding these heavy bags. And one of the other characters says, why doesn't he put down his bags? And the question's never answered. He asks several, why doesn't he put, that's us. Why don't we put down our bags? And actually we do, but then we keep picking them up again. You know, and it's because we've had a lot of practice. No one's to blame. We've just had a lot of practice. We're very good at this. And so we don't see ourselves doing it. We start seeing ourselves doing it. We realize, okay, I put the bags down 1,000 times. I pick them up 1,000 times. What if I put them down 1,000 times and then just pick them up 999 times? Then I'm free. So much easier. So a really, really good exercise is throughout the day, every once in a while, you can set an alarm so you do this several times a day or something. Drop your thoughts. You can slap your hands in front of your eyes. I like to do that. Something to kind of, shock yourself. To just drop your thoughts for a few seconds. Now you say, oh, the thoughts are still there. That's fine. Really dropping doesn't mean they have to cease to exist. It means you cease to engage with them, right? You relax your grip on it. As long as I relax my grip on the stick, doesn't matter if the stick persists in my hand or falls off. I'm not hung up with it. So do that a bunch of times a day. And just drop your thoughts for 5 seconds. After 6 seconds, pick them up again. Deliberately pick them up again. Deliberately pick up your burden again. Oh, here we go. Ay, Vayasmir, I'm schlepping this thing, right? Keep doing that. Deliberately pick them up again until you start saying, why am I picking them up again? Okay? And you see, that way you start to weaken the grip of those patterns on you. We start seeing more clearly our innate liberation. Our innate liberation. Before we do any meditation, before we get any therapy, not that there's not great value in meditation and therapy. One of the thoughts you may be aware of, like, we're going to do some meditation today? Yeah, sure. But this is insight. And the teaching, we talked about this last week, that the two aspects of real awakening practice have to be what's called shamatha and vipashyana, settling and seeing. Settling down, which is generally what we associate with meditation, and then clear seeing of what's what, not just some intellectual stuff. All this can sound intellectual, can't it? It's, well, we're using all these words, but can you see we're not using the words to accumulate a new belief system or a new doctrine or to store knowledge. If anything, we're using them destructively rather than constructively. We're using them to see through the patterns and beliefs we've had and soften them up and knock them down and leave some open space. You getting that? Does that resonate? So the two aspects, shamatha and vipashyana. Settling, so we can just get the mind to settle down and become more quiet. And then that helps us to see what's what. But also, seeing what's what helps us settle down. Anyone notice you're feeling perhaps a little more peaceful than before the session started, a little more unburdened, a little bit lighter perhaps, as you're starting to see through some of these patterns? One Buddhist Lama, a Canadian Lama actually, that I did a little bit of studying with, gave me the really crucial piece of understanding here. He said, if you have shamatha, in other words, if you get settled, you may or may not get vipashyana, right? You could get a massage and feel very relaxed, but or drink a couple of beers or something, but you're not going to have clear insight into what's what. But if you get the clear insight, he said, you'll definitely have settling. You'll definitely have shamatha. Okay. one more thing on this point. And Larry, this is largely for you, because you've had some questions about your TM practice, and I know a few other people on this call have done TM, Transcendental Meditation, and questions about, well, how does that fit into what we're doing here? One way of looking at it, and again, I'm speaking from the background of having in my past practice TM for decades and taught it to a couple of thousand people, I think. And this is not the whole story, but it's a way of looking at this. For people for whom the TM practice works, which, by the way, is not everyone, because not everyone is going to the TM, as you know, uses the vehicle of a simple, one or two syllable mellifluous sound, a mantra, and some people are very comfortable with it right away, and with the method that's taught to use it, which is effortlessly entertaining it and allowing it to kind of melt away in its own time. Some people get that. Some people never get it. They just bang away. They talk about, I keep repeating my mantra, and right. And those people just stop practicing, and then as TM teachers, we conveniently forget about them, right? Just saying. Aside from that, for people for whom the TM works well, we could say TM is a really good, like, deluxe gold-plated shamatha technique. Can you see that? Can you see that? As far as I can see, what's lacking is a clear vipashyana, which, to really get the whole non-dual picture, you got to have that. I'll tell you one quick story about this. Back when I was living in New Jersey, we had a small group of people that used to meditate at my house down in my basement. We had a little meditation room set up there on, I think it was Friday evenings. And we finished the meditation. We came upstairs into my kitchen. We were standing around chatting. This one friend of mine, his name was Bob, where he was standing happened to be right in front of the telephone. The kitchen telephone was just behind him, and we're chatting. We had just come up from the meditation. We're just, feeling settled, and all of a sudden the telephone rings, and it's quite loud, and he kind of jumped, and then he went, well, there went my meditation. Okay. Now, that's symptomatic of seeing meditation as a purely shamatha experience, right? And as a matter of fact, the lamas that I studied with that emphasize the vipashyana, it's a very common thing with certain, particularly in the Dzogchen school of Tibetan practice, which I spent a lot of years with. You'd be sitting, meditating, and the lama's leading the meditation. You're sitting there, maybe feeling nice and tranquil. Pet! They shout, right? First time it happened, I had no idea that was going to happen, of course. And I went, and then I went, oh, I was like, oh yeah, thank you so much. And that's there in a lot in Zen. They in Dzogchen they say pet, P-H-A-T. In Zen they say quats. Yeah, getting a little attached to your tranquility there, are you? All right. Okay. What you have to see is you were aware of tranquility. Now you're aware of being shaken up. Is there one person, one awareness that's aware of tranquility and a different awareness that's aware of being shaken up? No. No. And if all you're seeing is, which is what most people think meditation is about, is finding the tranquility. And as this one Lama, Nukchung Rinpoche, used to say, just get a massage. So much simpler, right? But what's more profound, and people who really have the philosophical, the spiritual quest, they're not going to be satisfied with mere tranquility. What we have to find is who or what is this awareness that's aware of tranquility and aware of being shaken up. Your one true friend, right? We go, oh, I'm trying. We were doing this in choir practice last night. Oh, okay, good. We slowly drop our thoughts and become tranquil, or drop our shoulders rather and become, oh, it feels so good and tranquil. Great. But now notice you're aware when our shoulders are down. Let's pull our shoulders up into this awkward position. Are we still aware? Are we less aware? Come on, Bob. You got to do this. Brother Bob, Cheryl. Don't just sit there thinking and philosophizing, Bob. You got to have the experience, okay? Are you still aware? Has this constricted your awareness? Has this clouded your awareness? Keep exploring. Keep exploring. And we can drop them. It's more comfortable. Now we're aware of being comfortable. How about just as we could be aware of the cylinder and the rectangle at the same time, how about being aware of one shoulder up, one shoulder down? I really recommend this. God damn it, Bob, pull up your shoulder. All right, do I have to shirt front you, Bob? Come on. One shoulder, one up, one down. This is lab work. Okay, notice this thing's going on, and there's this silent I that is neither of those experiences, that's aware of both of them. Now for that, substitute, see, because this is a model, this is our life. This thing's going on. My dear family member is sick and troubled. And this thing's going on. I slip into a warm bath. Our life is full of both of these kinds of things. You know, and of course we try to maximize this kind and minimize this kind, of course. But we're never going to get to a place that's always just this all the time. That's the bad news. The good news is awareness is not touched by either one. Awareness is not touched by stress or tranquility. It's the silent witness of all of that. I'll drink to that. Are you aware? Rest in that. Can we rest in that? In order to rest, actually, we have to say rest as that, because it's become quite clear to us that we are this awareness. There's zero distance between us and it. The thing that we thought was close to us, which is our body and our thoughts, is actually in front, so to speak, in front of this awareness. It's witnessed by this I, this awareness. So it doesn't quite make sense to say rest in awareness, because that still sounds like two things, like awareness is some hammock and I is some body resting in the hammock. Makes more sense to say rest as awareness. in order for this awareness to, so in order to rest as this awareness, is there anything we need to do? We've already seen there's no distance we need to traverse. There's nothing we need to do. It's like saying, it's like if you're sitting in a chair, I say, what do you have to do to be sitting in the chair? No, I'm already in the chair. So awareness is the chair that we always are in. It's actually the chair that we always are. What do you have to do? You know, if I ask you, Larry, if I ask you to stand up and take 3 steps toward yourself, what direction will you walk in? Right? You don't have to unmute. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Right. Yeah. Right. You're right here. You're always right here. Maybe it's starting to make sense to you why my Dzogchen teachers would tell us not to bother to close our eyes to meditate. Right? In order for awareness to be present, for us to be resting as awareness, do we need to make the sound stop? Are you still aware while the sound of my voice is going on? Sure. Are you still aware while my image is on the screen and the colors and shapes of your room are there? Sure. Is awareness eliminated? Does it go away if you move your body around? Do you even have to be sitting still? No. And you see all the sitting still and the closing your eyes and all that? It serves a purpose. It's training wheels. It's training wheels. So, what the heck? Let's close our eyes. Let's provisionally close our eyes. Let's take a slow, deep breath. And open the mouth, let out a deep sigh. Let go of all this blah, blah, blah that we've been doing, that I've been doing. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Perhaps a thought is present, something along the lines of, when's he going to give us the next instruction? What's he going to tell us to do? That's what's known as a thought, like any other thought. Perhaps there's been some little bit of feeling of anticipation. That's what's called a feeling, like any other feeling. Where's the awareness that's aware of that thought, aware of that feeling? Right here. It's the one that's looking. The one that's aware. It's the I. Right here. No instructions needed. No signposts to point you in the right direction. You're here. Just remain as you are. Thoughts come and go. Fine, that's something we're aware of. They come and go, so to speak, in front of the awareness or within the awareness. And if thoughts are present, thoughts are absent, thoughts are numerous, thoughts are few, doesn't matter. Awareness persists. That's all we're concerned with. Just resting as this awareness that has no size or shape, no color, no gender, no agenda, no nothing. Feelings come and go. Could be feelings of restlessness, tranquility. Fine, they're just more stuff we're aware of. They're in front of or within the awareness. Awareness persists. It's not improved or diminished by any of these feelings or anything else. Nothing interrupts awareness. So therefore, we don't try to push anything away. We don't try to push away thoughts or sounds. When we do that, if we try to push anything away, we're just reinforcing the illusion, the misapprehension that those things can interrupt awareness, that they pose a problem. So we're welcoming and gracious to whatever comes and goes in front of this awareness. We just remain sitting regally in the throne of our perfect, colorless, shapeless, boundless nature, our natureless nature. We don't come down from our throne to chase away the mice. Just rest as this awareness. Rest as this I, as you already are. Anything else that might seem necessary isn't. That's just a thought. At any point, if you feel you've gotten very engaged with something you're aware of, engaged with some thought, wrestling with a thought, or resisting an emotion, or indulging in the emotion. Not just that they're coming and going, but you're really kind of caught up wrestling with something. Just relax your grip on it. Don't try to get rid of it or resolve it. Just relax your grip on it and relax back into this awareness, this I. Which is never far away. It's never even close. It's closer than close. It's this, it's here, it's I. If you're looking for it, it's the one who's looking. And take a few minutes to bring the body back to a more active state. After a couple of minutes like that, you slowly open the eyes. Okay, how's everybody doing? If you're still opening your eyes, that's fine. Take your time. Any questions or observations? Yeah, Judy, you're raising your index finger. Oh, let me. I have to enable you all to unmute yourselves. Okay, good. Now you can unmute yourself, Judy.
I'm still wrestling with the idea, thought, whatever it is.
Yes, it's a thought. Whatever it is, it's a thought. I can guarantee you.
That when I'm in a thought, where is my awareness? Because I'm in the thought.
Are you in the thought? This is
Well, the
homework.
thought wouldn't exist without.
When you say I am in the thought, what is this I that's in the thought, and how did you fit it in there?
I've never solved the thought. Maybe the problem.
Yeah. What is when you say I am in, and of course subjectively,
my
of course.
My attention.
Aha. Okay. So now earlier we spent quite some time distinguishing between awareness and thoughts. Now you've brought up another thing which is very, very interesting and very important, which is attention. Okay? Now, I think we've seen pretty clearly that thoughts are not the awareness. Thoughts are something we're aware of. We can say thoughts are in front of the awareness, so to speak. We're all, you good on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And emotions are in front of the awareness, and physical sensations, all this whole, and visual, the whole body, what we call the body, is this collage of physical sensations and visual images and so forth that we think we know what the body is. But that also is in front of the awareness, right? And our five senses, we didn't talk much about this, but let's just be clear about this, that the five senses we're aware of. We're aware of not only the objects of the senses, but the senses themselves. So the objects of the senses, we can say, oh, I can see that's red, that's blue. But also we can say, I see better through my left eye than I do through my right eye. My vision is kind of blurry today. I see my vision, right? Can everyone see that? That
Mhm.
even the senses are subtle objects of awareness. I don't hear as well as I used to. I can hear crickets with my left ear, not my right ear, depending on the kind of crickets, actually. We're aware of that. That's in front of the awareness. Now, what about the attention? Attention, I would submit to you, I'm going to just hypothesize this, that attention is a kind of focusing mechanism, that it's just as hearing, seeing, tasting, touching, smelling are mechanisms, we could say tools of the awareness, and the awareness is aware of them. I would submit to you that attention also is a tool. It's kind of subtler. It's one step back from the senses. Because, for instance, right now, everyone do the experiment, please. Pay attention to what your eyes are seeing. Now, notice you don't have to move your eyes. Pay attention to what your vision is. It was registering that all the time. Now pay attention to the sensation of the pressure of your bottom against the seat that you're sitting in. Oh, there's that. That's been there all along. We didn't move our butt. We didn't move our eyes. We moved our attention. Okay, everyone's clear on that? Now, were you aware of that movement of your attention? Yeah. Yeah. So I would submit to you that attention also is an object of awareness. It's really, we're getting very subtle. And when we say, I was in that thought, what you're really saying is my attention went to that thought. Okay.
And left
Yes.
awareness.
And left the awareness of resting as awareness. Left the awareness of that. I know this can sound complicated, but it's not. It's simple.
Just have to play with it.
before you felt caught up in the thought, and everyone goes through this. I'm just trying to we're really doing microsurgery here to make these fine distinctions. But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's all going to liberation. So, if we start to see that, watch the attention moving, and this is homework. This is something you can do during the day. I hope everyone is sitting down meditating every day. That's like the most basic homework. If you really want to see, if you're really interested, if you're tired of suffering, if you're as tired of suffering as I am, I would say, the basic at the very least be sitting down to meditate for 10, 15, 20 minutes, something every day. And then there's other stuff you can do during the day. And one of them is, we talked about before, several times a day, drop your thoughts. Relax your grip. By the way, in that regard, I'll get back to your point in a minute, Judy, but in that regard, Lynn, something I wanted to get back to you about from last time, because you made this point of, we'd been doing a lot of this kind of little bit heady, insight work. And you said near the end of the session last week, to me, it seems like it all comes down to let go, right? And first of all, one thing I want to say about this that I wished I'd said last time was that when you say that, I know that comes out of your very beautiful and profound experience on the front lines, working with people who are in a lot of deep suffering, working with people who are dying. So you know what you're talking about. You're not just slinging philosophy. You're not playing with metaphysics. So when you say let go, that's coming from that place of very deep realness. Okay. I made the point last week that sometimes for some people, when they hear let go, it's confusing to them because they think that means whatever it is supposed to go away. So I usually prefer the phrase, I used to say let go a lot. Now I usually say relax your grip. Now, another way we can do it is let go and let be. Can you see that? Let go and let be. See, once we say let be, that kind of covers the escape clause from the back door of misinterpretation of let go. You let go of it, and whatever it is, you let it be there. Let be and let go. So that's another way to do it. And this all goes to what's called in traditionally upaya. Upaya means skillful means. Skillful means. You know, it's not, oh, this thing's right, this thing's wrong, is what thing is going to skillfully, what words will skillfully get people to rest in the real truth, the real liberation, which is beyond words. And really, you know, what will alleviate suffering? You know, what gets you through the night? So let go, let be, relax your grip. So during the day, we can do that several times a day. Relax your grip on your thoughts, drop your thoughts, let them go and let them be. And note, and so you start to notice that you do that. You feel where the lever is. You feel where the lever is for hold on to the thoughts, let go of the thoughts, relax your grip on the thoughts. That you've been unconsciously working that lever your whole life. Now we're starting to consciously work it. And realize how much of the time we just keep holding when we can let it go. Boy, if you get nothing else from all this investigation, that's huge. I was at my dentist today. I had to get a couple of fillings. And the dentist, the dental assistant, and everybody, it's all out with masks and shields, and they take your temperature before they let you through the door. It's great. And the dental assistant was talking about how, you know, people get in the chair and they're so tense and they're so, but you know, so if nothing else, if you can know how to let go, how to relax your grip on the stuff, man, that's great. Forget about it, enlightenment, all that. But so I would say do that several times a day. Another piece of homework you can do, start paying attention to attention. Start watching how attention works, how attention grips things, goes from one thing. Start becoming aware of attention as an object of experience, just like vision is or hearing is. My vision's on my vision. My sight is on this. Now it's on this. I'm paying my hearing's on this. Now it's on this. Attention's on this. Attention's on that. And then this will come back, Judy, to your question. As we become more conscious of the workings of attention, the answer to your question will start to reveal itself. I can't really do it in words, but experientially, that question will start, that answer will start to reveal itself. You'll start seeing how attention goes to a thought and lets go of the thought. It goes to a physical sensation. Oh, my back hurts, goes away from that, whatever. And you'll start to see that all of that is in front of awareness, and that awareness is actually never lost. The next thing I say is going to sound like impossible, but it's only till now it has seemed like it gets lost, but it gets clearer. And even the thing as and this is reported over and over as people really, you know, really step into liberation and enlightenment. Even when sleep comes, and we think, well, when sleep comes, surely awareness is lost then. And it turns out that actually no. And then that turns out to be the dress rehearsal for, oh, well, when death comes, surely awareness is lost. Surely awareness is diminished somehow. But, you know, the beautiful words of Jesus and the Gospels See if I can say this without crying, which is, fear not, for I have overcome the world. Right? What does that mean? It means this. It means, okay, there's stress, there's relaxation, there's tragedy with my beloved family members, there's things going okay, there's the nice warm bathtub, all this is going on. But I mean, if we take it on the gross level, I have overcome. Clearly, Jesus did not overcome the world. He was crucified by the world. But Christ, which is the boundless, which is awareness, is when, as it becomes clear what that is, it realizes it realizes its true, its dignity, its boundlessness, its inability to be touched by anything, even death. So one more piece of homework, and to me this is the crucial, and this one I would suggest write this down, and if you don't have a piece of paper or a pen, write this down right afterward, because this is something you won't want to do. This is something you'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and you will, I guarantee you will find reasons to not do this. And that's Mara. That's in what in Buddhism is called Mara. He's like the devil, which is the illusion of ego, the illusion of separate self. See, because I have to tell you, I am so happy, so grateful that we got this nice little group of people that keeps coming back and coming back. So I don't have to just keep talking about effortless meditation and how to relax and all that. We can finally get to the good stuff, right? The vipashyana. This is the good stuff. You've all made this possible, so thank you. So here's the good stuff. And Lord Mara, what happens is when you start seeing through the illusion of a separate self, a self that's just a bag of skin with a bunch of guts and some ego inside it somewhere, a little monkey behind the eyeballs with the grip on the steering wheel. When you start seeing through that, Lord Mara, speaking poetically, the illusion of the separate self starts to feel threatened. And so it starts making up excuses to why not to do this. So here's your homework that you will find excuses to not do. As you go through the day, 3 questions to keep coming back to. Number 1, am I aware right now? Am I aware now? Number 2, does this awareness have any qualities or characteristics? Does this awareness have any qualities or characteristics? You have to keep coming back and not just thinking about it. You have to keep looking, and you have to look during different situations in your life, different things in the day, not just when we're all sitting so nice and relaxed and feeling philosophical, with the Zoom session going. You have to do it while you're driving, when you're really angry, suddenly, put this piece of paper, put copies in the kitchen on your bathroom mirror, whatever. Think of where's the part of the house where you get the most stressed. I'll say them again, Judy. Wherever you get the most stressed, put a copy of it there. Put them on Post-its. Am I aware? Does this awareness have any qualities or characteristics?
Like anger, or is it like when you say qualities? Is it emotions?
Are you well? Okay. If anger is present, is that the awareness? You're aware of the anger. Can you be aware of? It's like, okay, here's anger. Here's tranquility. Think of a time, Judy, think of a time when you were angry. Think of remember what that felt like. Summon the sensations. Okay? Are you feeling that? Okay? Now, remember what it feels like to be just, so relaxed and happy, and what that feels like. Summon that feeling. Okay? Now, summon them both at the same time. Okay? Now you're aware of both. See? Just like being aware of the rectangle and the cylinder. Awareness is not either. It's devoid of characteristics. It's that which is aware of the things that have characteristics, including thoughts, feelings, the body, all the changing stuff, all the phenomenal stuff. But don't take my word for it. See, you're doing exactly the right thing, Judy, which is you're questioning it. You're poking it. Can awareness be angry? Oh, I'm aware of anger. But awareness is, anger is, so to speak, in front of the awareness. Okay? Keep looking at that. And then the third thing. So, am I aware? How did I phrase the second one? Does the awareness have qualities or characteristics? Okay. And then the third, can I possibly be anything other than this awareness? Can I possibly have that word in there? Can I possibly be anything other than this awareness? So I look forward to reconvening next week after you've all done your homework and see how you're doing. Okay, good. Good. Okay. And this Sunday, those of you who are joining us for poetry, we're going to be doing Kabir. Ooh, good stuff. So,
Look him up. I don't know him at all.
so may all beings swiftly realize the nature of I. And thus may all suffering, distress, disharmony evaporate like a bad dream when we wake up to the rising sun. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Dean.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dean.
See you around.
Good night.
Thank you. Dean, was this chant at Bodh Gaya when we were there? They sounded it out in the space?
No, because when we were at Bodh Gaya, that's a Buddhist pilgrimage site, and this chant comes from through Hindu tradition, so-called Hindu tradition, through the Vedic tradition is a more accurate way of saying. If you're interested, Tova, if you go to my website, there's a site about the Zoom sessions, and I have this chant, this mantra at the bottom of that page. And the more literal translation by Diane, the more literal translation is, may all beings be happy. And then Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. May all beings be happy. Loka. Loka is like location. It's actually cognate with the word location, locale, right? In all places, throughout the world, throughout the worlds. Loka, samastha, some like same, or summary. All this stuff's cognate. Sanskrit is so close to English, and samastha, and asta is established, right? So throughout the world, all the worlds established. So Loka, samastha, sukhino. Sukha is happiness. Happiness. Sukha, unhappiness is dukkha. Sukha, dukkha. It's like, this is sukha, dukkha. It's like Tweedledee, Tweedledum. They rhyme because it's just like two sides of the same coin. But the real sukha, the real happiness is beyond the duality, the true happiness. Loka, samastha, sukhino, bhavantu. Bhava is to be. So may all beings be happy. But usually I wind up riffing on it in the context of whatever we've been talking about, because it's more fun that way.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you.
Thanks so much. Max, let's talk sometime.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
This was great.
good. Drop me a line.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you.
See you, Susie. See you, Marie.
Yeah. Good night.
So good
Bye.
to see you. See you, Louisa.